crazy. Like for over a year and a half in 2023 to 2024, I was in a fog. Life kept moving and I did too, but I was carrying so much more than I realized. And it wasn't until everything came to a stop when I stopped operations of my business and shut down the tech startup that I was working on, and some personal things happened as well, that I really crashed hard, and I felt the full weight of the burnout and realized just how severe it was. Since then, I've been slowly rebuilding, reconnecting with parts of myself that I just didn't have space for, through journaling, yes, but also through these physical activities that make me feel alive. I skied as much as I could before the season ended, and now I'm getting back into tennis and basketball and just spending a lot of quality time with good friends. These are just things that have really helped me come back to myself. Moving my body, doing things that feel fun and grounding. But some days, even those things that I love so much can even get me out of bed, and I just have to practice giving myself grace. So this isn't about pushing through or staying constantly busy. It's about reconnecting with whatever makes you feel a little more like you at a pace which is listening to your body. So if you've felt heavy lately, this video is for you. This is just one small, real thing that is helping me come back to myself, and maybe it will help you too. So I wanted to start today with a short little meditation to help ground you and create space for whatever comes up today. With that being said, I invite you to pause with me for a moment, to get out of your head, into your body, and into this moment. If it feels safe for you, go ahead and gently close your eyes. Allow your facial muscles to relax, your eyebrows to be unfurrowed, your lower jaw to hang slightly so your teeth aren't clenched. Take a moment to notice the hair on your head, to notice if there is movement in the air around you, if it's cold or warm. And then take a deep breath in through your nose, hold at the top for just a moment, and when you exhale, exhale through your mouth, allowing the entire breath to exit before you take your next breath in. Again, breathe in, and as you exhale, soften your shoulders. Relax your hands, your legs. Now imagine you're standing in a quiet room inside your mind. It's calm, it's still. There's a big open window letting in soft, fresh air. Outside you can see the signs of spring, sunlight, new green leaves, maybe even flowers beginning to bloom. Let the breeze from that open window move through the room, softly, clearing what's been sitting stagnant. Feel the air shifting around you, clearing out any heaviness, noise, and mental clutter you've been carrying. Breathe in, and as you exhale, imagine releasing something you no longer need. Maybe it's a stress you've been holding in your body. Maybe it's a thought that's been looping. Maybe it's just the weight of trying to do everything all the time. Now take another deep breath in, and as you exhale, feel the room shift as the air settles around you. This is your reset space, a place where nothing is expected of you and everything is welcome. As we move into journaling, I want you to stay connected to this energy, this lightness, this clearing. Take a deep breath in, hold at the top for just a moment, and when you exhale, exhale through your mouth, allowing the entire breath to exit before you take your next breath in. Once more, inhale deeply, hold at the top, exhale fully. And when you're ready, gently open your eyes, bring your awareness back to the room or whatever space you're in, and take out your journal. Let's talk about emotional clutter, what it is, how it builds up, and why we don't always notice it right away. Emotional clutter is the accumulation of unprocessed emotions, looping thoughts, and unresolved tension. It's the mental noise that keeps playing in the background while we try to focus on everything else. It can show up as irritability, overthinking, or even just feeling numb and out of touch with yourself. And just like physical clutter, emotional clutter does not show up overnight. It builds slowly. It might be frustration you didn't have time to process, the small hurt you brushed aside because you had to keep going, or the daily stress that just never gets fully released. Over time, it adds up. It lingers in our body, it weighs down our thoughts, and starts to cloud our sense of clarity. We often adapt to that heaviness without even realizing it. We normalize it until one day, right, it comes crashing and everything just feels so loud and too much. And if you're not aware of this, you might be confused as to why you're even feeling that way. So it's important to check in with yourself every now and then. And that's where journaling becomes very powerful. Writing helps bring awareness to what's vague or buried. It slows down the noise and gives you space to ask, what am I actually feeling? What am I carrying that's not mine? It's not about fixing everything. It's about laying it out to see it clearly enough to choose how to hold it or let it go. Think of this part as emotional dusting. You're not trying to overhaul your whole self. You're just gently clearing space to breathe again. So in this next section, I'll guide you through 3 journaling prompts to help you begin that clearing. Before we begin, I just want to remind you that this isn't about digging for pain or forcing breakthrough. It's more like opening a few windows in a stuffy room and letting a little bit of light and air in. Prompt 1. What am I holding on to that's quietly draining me? This could be a thought pattern, a relationship dynamic, or a pressure you've been putting on yourself. Try not to overthink, just write what comes up, even if it doesn't make sense quite yet. Sometimes just the act of naming it is enough to loosen its grip. Prompt 2. Where am I spending my energy trying to control something or someone that I can't control? This one hits me every time I come back to it. We often don't realize how much effort and energy we expend stressing about or trying to manage things that we just don't have power over. Let this be a space where you can be radically honest with yourself. Not to judge yourself, but so that you can start loosening that grip. Prompt 3. What part of me is asking for more care or attention right now? Instead of focusing only on what to get rid of, this question helps you shift towards self-compassion. What's been neglected emotionally, creatively, or spiritually? Let your response guide you towards what actually deserves your energy. You also don't need to write in full sentences. They can be bullet points or fragments of sentences. There's no wrong way to do this. What matters is that it's yours. Be honest with yourself, meet yourself where you are, and let that be enough. You also don't need to answer these prompts all at once. Even one honest answer can create real space. And when you're ready, we'll shift into the next part, which is focusing on what renewal can look like you this next season. Okay, now that we've created a little space by letting some things go, this part is about inviting in what feels aligned, nourishing, and genuinely meaningful to you. And it doesn't need to be big or dramatic. Growth can be soft. Renewal can be quiet. We're not rebuilding from scratch. We're returning to what feels true. So here are 3 prompts to help you reconnect with what you want to move towards this season. Prompt 1. What would it feel like to give myself permission to start fresh? Not what would I do, but how would I feel? This helps you step into the emotional energy of beginning again. not from pressure, but from freedom. What would feel lighter, more honest, and more you? Prompt 2. What's something I want to nurture in myself right now? Think of this like planting a seed. It could be rest, creativity, a sense of stability, or a deeper relationship with yourself. What's one small thing that you have that you want to protect and care for through this season? It could be a healthy habit or a dream that you want to protect and grow. These are things that I think about when I consider what or how I want to nourish myself in any given period. Prompt 3. What would support look like for me right now, and am I letting myself receive it? This one's really about softening, letting yourself not do it all alone. Whether that's asking for help, creating space for joy with loved ones, or giving yourself permission to rest, and giving yourself grace on those days that your body just can't. Support doesn't have to come only from others, but you also don't have to carry everything alone. This isn't about resolution, it's about alignment. And sometimes the biggest shifts come from the smallest moments of honesty. So in this final section, we'll wrap up and talk about how to carry this energy forward. All right, so let's shake things off a bit and take a moment to just notice how you feel right now. Maybe something surfaced while you were writing. Maybe nothing major came up, and that's okay too. Journaling doesn't have to be a performance for yourself. It's not about solving every problem or coming to perfect clarity. It's just about creating a space where you can really hear yourself again, especially when life just feels so noisy sometimes. If you made it this far, I see you for giving yourself this space. This kind of inner spring cleaning doesn't always feel urgent, but it's powerful in quiet, steady ways. We tend to wait for big breaking points before we pause and check in, but it doesn't have to be that way. So you're allowed to reflect before burnout. I encourage it. And you're allowed to reset just because something feels off, even if nothing's wrong. Going for walks is always nice as well if you can. I like to do that to clear my head, leave my phone behind or on silent while I'm out. And really, that's the heart of spring cleaning for the soul. Like, it's not about forcing yourself into a new version, but gently returning to what's true and reblooming and unbecoming is what I've been calling this process for myself. Letting go of what doesn't serve me. As I've said before, it's an ongoing process. Journaling doesn't fix everything. It just helps remind you that you're allowed to take up space in your own life. And, you know, your thoughts, your needs, your feelings, they all deserve to be heard, especially by you. So my hope is that this gave you a little more clarity, a little more room to breathe, and know that you don't need to have all the answers today or ever. And you probably will never have all the answers. It's enough that you showed up with honesty and openness. As always, thanks for being here with me. If any part of this practice helped you today, I'd love to hear what resonated with you most. Feel free to share a reflection in the comments or even just a word or a phrase that came up for you.